Students, in this video session, we are going to learn about gravitation. We are going to see new chapter, that is gravitation. Most of you all are familiar with the word gravitation. In your lower sections also, you might be very familiar with Earth's gravitational force. In this particular chapter, we are going to learn what is meant by gravitation and what is responsible for gravitation and why does Earth pulls object all masses towards its center. What is the magnitude of gravitational force acting between two masses, and gravitational field, gravitational potential energy, and escape velocity, orbital velocity, launching of satellites. These are the topics we are going to discuss in this chapter, gravitation. So to start with, we will first learn what is meant by gravity and how Newton have Newton have proposed the topic gravitation and how to calculate gravitational force acting between two masses. We will be discussing in this video session. Yeah, students, in your lower sections you have learned Newton have proposed gravitational force. When he is sitting under a tree, an apple falling on his head led him to discover gravity. So by that activity, when apple fall upon his head, he have considered that there might be a force acting upon the apple which is pulling that apple in downward direction, and it is applicable for all smaller masses on the surface of the earth. Not only apple, any other object, if it is left at certain height, that object is able to fall freely and it is being pulled towards the earth. This led Newton to propose gravitational force. So Newton have proposed that earth has an attractive force. Earth has an attractive force which pulls all the objects towards its center. That is initial assumption made by Newton was that earth, as it is huge object, it is able to attract all other substances towards its center. Later he unified that not only earth, all masses, there is an interactive force between two masses, and he named that force as gravitational force. So not only earth, all masses interact with each other by exchanging particles called gravitons. By exchanging particles called gravitons, they interact with each other, and the force is called gravitational force. That force is called gravitational force. And now people have assumed that there are four fundamental forces in nature. They are: number one, strong nuclear force; strong nuclear force, and number 2, weak nuclear force. Number 3, electromagnetic force. Electromagnetic force. And the fourth fundamental force is gravitational force. In universe, there are only these 4 fundamental forces in nature. The only 4 fundamental forces. Strong nuclear force, weak nuclear force are the forces which are within the vicinity of nucleus, whereas electromagnetic force is the interaction between two charged particles. Gravitational force is the force acting between two masses. So nuclear force acts within the vicinity of nucleus. Gravitational force acts between electric charges. Gravitational force act between two charged particles. Sorry, electromagnetic force act between two charged particles. Gravitational force act between two masses. So any type of mass it can be. If it have notable mass, then gravitational force will be acting between those two masses. This was proposed by Newton, and Newton have given Newton's inverse law of gravitation in order to calculate the magnitude of gravitational force acting between two masses. Students, I already mentioned that gravitational force is the force acting between two charged particles, and these two masses, let me consider there are two masses. We have mass 1 here and there is another mass. These two are separated by certain distance. Like let me consider this separation from center to center. Remember, it is not from surface to surface. When we are calculating gravitational force, you need to always take center to center separation. That is what R. I am taking center to center separation between these two masses as R. And this is mass M1. This is mass M2. Newton have proposed between two masses there is a gravitational force acting, and that force F is directly proportional to product of two masses. The gravitational force acting between two masses is directly proportional to product of two masses, and gravitational force is inversely proportional to square of separation between two masses. And this I am considering it as R square. As I combine these two, F is proportional to product of the masses. First mass is M1, second mass is M2. In the numerator, it is product of two masses, mass M1 and M2 divided by. Second thing is the gravitational force acting between two masses is inversely proportional to square of separation between two masses. And center to center separation here is R. Square of the separation is R square. This is how the magnitude of gravitational force is directly proportional to product of their masses and inversely proportional to square of separation between them. And if you remove this proportionality, you should include a constant, and that constant is capital G. So F is equal to capital G M1 M2 divided by R square. This is magnitude of gravitational force acting between two masses M1 and M2, where capital G is called universal gravitational constant. Universal gravitational constant, and this capital G can be written as F R square divided by M1, M2, where M1, M2 are masses. And if you are taking two masses, M1 and M2 as 1 kg, M1 is equal to M2 is equal to 1 kg, and F force separation between these two masses, I am considering it as 1 meter. So if M1, M2 is 1 kg and R is equal to 1 meter, you can take gravitational constant capital G will be equal to capital F, which is 1 unit. 1 unit. Gravitational force magnitude will be equal to 1 unit, that is equal to gravitational constant. And the value of gravitational constant is measured by Cavendish method. Cavendish is a scientist who have used a particular method to find out gravitational constant between two masses, and that gravitational constant is supposed to be a fixed value throughout the universe. It does not change from position to position, it does not change from planet to planet, its value remains same, and the value of capital G is equal to 6.67 into 10 power minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. This is the value of gravitational constant, 6.67 into 10 power minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. This value is evaluated experimentally by Cavendish method. Yeah. So we have now got an equation to calculate gravitational force acting between two masses. Magnitude of gravitational force is equal to capital G M1 M2 by R square. There are few properties of gravitational force. Now let us discuss the properties of gravitational force acting between two masses. The first point is that I'm representing Fg, gravitational force, as Fg. Gravitational force Fg is vector quantity, and the vector notation Fg bar is equal to capital G M1 M2 divided by R12 bar magnitude whole square into R12 cap, where R12 cap is unit vector along the direction of mass 1 to mass 2. Mass 1 to mass 2. So R12 unit vector, this is unit vector along the direction of gravitational force. And if I write this R12 cap as R12 bar divided by R12 magnitude, because any unit vector can be written by its vector divided by its magnitude. So I'll just represent, I'll take this and I'll write it here. So I can write vector notation Fg is equal to capital G M1 M2 divided by R12 magnitude whole cube into R12 bar. This is equation which represents vector notation of gravitational force. That's point number 1. And the second point which we have is, as we know, gravitational force is vector quantity. Gravitational force always arises between two masses. It is only between two masses, and mass exists in only one state. There is no positive mass, negative mass. There is only single mass. Mass itself is mass. Therefore, gravitational force is only attractive in nature. Gravitational force is only attractive in nature. Repulsive gravitational force will never exist. So attractive gravitational force is usually represented with a negative sign. Therefore, gravitational force can be represented with negative sign as it is attractive. As it is attractive force, it can be represented with one negative sign. So Fg is equal to minus capital G m1 m2 divided by r square. This is Fg, and this negative sign represents that it is attractive. So if ever I am writing negative, it does not, it only gives the sign convention. It represents that it is attractive force. That's it. There is no other thing with that negative sign. That is number 2. Gravitational force is always attractive in nature. It is never repulsive. Gravitational force is a vector quantity, and that vector is along the line joining between two masses. And gravitational force magnitude should be taken to be negative because it is attractive force. The next point, the next property of gravitational force is that gravitational force always act along the line joining between two masses. Say here is one mass and here is one mass. These two masses get attracted towards each other like this. And if there is one mass here, these two masses get attracted towards each other in this direction. And these two masses get attracted towards each other in this direction. Always it is only between center to center separation. If I take this as m1, this as m2, and this as m3, between m1 and m2 there is an interaction along line joining between those two masses. Between m1 and m3 there is a gravitational force acting between them. Between m2 and m3 along the line joining between two masses there is a gravitational force. So gravitational force direction always will be along line joining between two masses. That's number 3. Number 4, gravitational force is a central force. Central force, it forms Newton's third law. Third law, action is equal to minus reaction. See, we have two masses. This is m1 and this is m2. m1 is pulled by mass m2. I will write it as f12. m2 is pulled by mass m1. I'll write it as f21. Magnitude of f12 is equal to minus magnitude of f21. So this is forming one Newton's third law, where by two bodies on two bodies. Therefore Newton's third law is valid with valid by gravitational force, and gravitational force is a central force. Central force mean that any force which act between two centers and satisfy inverse square law, it is said to be a central force. So central force should be considered like it is always acting between two centers, center to center separation between two objects, and it should be proportional to r power n. It is inversely proportional to r power n, where n can be equal to 2 or n can be equal to 3 or n can be equal to 4. Such type of force is said to be central force. So center to center separation along the line joining between two centers, gravitational force act, and it obey Newton's third law. Gravitational force magnitude is independent of medium. Gravitational force is independent of medium present between two masses. It only depends upon separation between two masses, and it only depends on product of the masses, but it does not depend upon medium in which they are present. Gravitational force between two masses in air will be same, and same masses if you take it into liquid, even in the liquid medium also, gravitational force acting between them will be uniform, it will be same. Therefore, gravitational force is independent of medium present between two masses. That's number 5, fifth property. Next property is that gravitational force is independent of shape of the masses. Gravitational force is independent of shape of the masses. It only depends on their magnitude and separation. Gravitational force only depends upon magnitude of their masses m1 and m2. Separation between them, it is r. That is number 6. Number 7 is that gravitational force exists throughout the universe. It can extend up to infinity. That means even if two masses are separated by large distance, there will be gravitational force acting between those two masses, right? And eighth one is gravitational force act between microscopic and macroscopic masses. That is, between two electrons, they act. Gravitational force will be acting between two electrons. Electron do have some mass. There is a gravitational force acting between two electrons. And they also act between two planets. Planets are very huge masses. They are astronomical bodies. Between two planets, their size is very, very high. Their mass is very, very large. Between two large bodies, there acts gravitational force. And between two small minute particles, say electrons, between two electrons, as they have mass, there will be gravitational force acting between two electrons. Therefore, it acts between microscopic and as well as macroscopic masses, and its nature is always attractive. It is extended up to infinity. It will be arising between two masses which are of small separation of 10 power order minus 15 and large separation up to 10 power order 15. It can be varied between separation between two masses from very small value to very large value. That is number 8. Remember that the other one is magnitude of gravitational force, direction is towards greater mass. The direction of gravitational force between two masses is towards the greater mass. Say for example, we have mass m1 and here is mass m2. m1 is greater than m2. m1 mass is greater than m2. Therefore, m1 will be pulled towards m2. m2 is also pulled towards m1. Okay, so therefore, upon this there is a gravitational force. I name it as F2. Upon this mass m1, there is a gravitational force. I write it as m1. Now, if you consider those two forces, magnitude of F1 is equal to magnitude of F2, but acceleration of the first mass is not equal to acceleration of the second mass, because acceleration is inversely proportional to mass M. Therefore, greater mass, its acceleration is less. Smaller mass, its acceleration is more, because it is less mass, it will be easily movable. But greater mass, it is inversely proportional to, like, mass and acceleration both are inversely proportional to each other. That is the reason why M1 has less acceleration than that of M2. So you can write acceleration A2 is greater than acceleration A1. Therefore, M2 is pulled towards M1. So if you are taking two different masses, the gravitational force of acting on the mass which is smaller, smaller mass will be pulled towards the larger mass. That is the reason why when you are taking two bodies, like any two objects, smaller mass get more acceleration than that of larger mass. That is the reason why, as Earth mass is very, very, very high, all the masses which are present on the Earth, like, they are comparably very, very minute particles with respect to mass of the Earth. That is the reason why all objects are being pulled towards the Earth, irrespective of their size and shape. They are being pulled towards the Earth mass, because mass of the Earth is comparably very, very high than that of any other masses. Therefore, acceleration of all those particles can be felt, but acceleration of mass could not be felt, because mass of the Earth could not be felt because mass of the Earth is very large. Therefore, its acceleration is very, very, very small. See, mass of Earth is of order 6 into 10 power 24. And what about its acceleration? Acceleration of the Earth is inversely proportional to mass, and it is inversely proportional to 10 power 24. So acceleration of the Earth is it is up to order of 10 power minus 24. 10 power minus 24 value is very, very, very small. It's nearly equal to 0. That's the reason why acceleration of mass is not ever felt. Mass of the Earth is very large, therefore acceleration of Earth will never be felt, but acceleration of any other objects is being felt. They are being pulled towards the Earth.